regular season and advanced to meet perennial power Johns Hopkins in the championship game. The score was tied late in the fourth quarter, but the Blue Jays were just too strong. This goal, with about 2 minutes to play, gave Johns Hopkins the national title and handed Cornell its lone defeat of the season, a bitter, bitter loss for Cornell head coach Richie Moran. Virginia's Cavaliers have been here before as well. It was back in 1986 when the Cavaliers took on fellow ACC team, the North Carolina Tar Heels, for the national championship. Virginia had a high-scoring team. They seemed unstoppable. This game went to overtime, and with just over 2 minutes to play, North Carolina scored a game-winning goal to take the national championship away from the Cavaliers, who also suffered a very bitter defeat. This year, Virginia and Cornell, with memories of these bitter defeats, meet once again, hoping to turn their fortunes around as they meet in the 1988 Lacrosse Final Four in Syracuse. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents the NCAA Lacrosse Playoffs. From Syracuse, it's the Cornell Big Red and the Virginia Cavaliers. Hi again, everyone. This is Bill Roth from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, and welcome to our second day of coverage from the lacrosse playoffs in Syracuse. Yesterday, Syracuse knocked off Pennsylvania, so the Orangemen are into the finals. It'll be Cornell and Virginia here today, and with me is Leif Elsmo. And Leif, we have seen parity in lacrosse this year as Virginia and Cornell, the 10th and 11th seeded teams, have made the Final Four.
No question about it, Bill. That's exactly what lacrosse wanted. So Virginia and Cornell, the 10th, 11th ranked teams, come in here in the semifinals to play for the right to go against Syracuse. That is not totally a surprise. Each team has experience. One team lost the championship last year. The other team lost the year before. So they have experience, and it'll be a tough match.
This Cornell team came into the season with high expectations. After all, they had their Turnbull Award winner back, Tim Goldstein. They got off to a shaky start, but Goldstein has played well over the past few weeks.
Goldstein's a fabulous player, an absolute magician behind the goal. He will control the offense for this fine Cornell team. The object for Virginia is to really cut him down and stop him from getting the ball to that offense of Cornell, which is in constant motion.
This has been a great season for the Cavaliers of Virginia. They have won 2 overtime road playoff games. First, knocking off Yale, and last week, eliminating Johns Hopkins at Homewood Field in Baltimore on an overtime goal by Chase Monroe.
Well, Chase Monroe is a real handful for the Cornell team. He scored 5 goals. He's probably the single reason that the great Hopkins team isn't here today. Chase Monroe, 5 goals against Hopkins. He's set a new school record in goals per year. He's a handful that the Cornell team's going to have to stop if they want to win today.
So it's Cornell against Virginia. The winner advances to meet Syracuse for the national championship, and we'll meet the starting lineups between these two teams coming up next on ESPN. The Big Red at 8 and 5. The Cavaliers are 9 and 4. Let's meet the starting lineups of these two teams. Cornell is coached by Richie Moran, one of the legendary bench bosses in the game. He's at his 20th season as the head coach of the Big Red. He has a potent attack led by last year's Turnbull Award winner Tim Goldstein out of Stony Brook, New York, and his own son Kevin, a native of Ithaca, who's taken over this year on attack. The midfield looks like this: Tim McDevitt, Joe Lizio, and Vince Angotti. Lizio, the face-off specialist. On defense, Brian McCormick, Mike DiStefano, and Matt Gleason. DiStefano, the key defensive player. And in goal, Paul Schmoller, who had a tremendous game against North Carolina, propelling the Big Red into today's national semifinal game. Virginia is coached by Jim Adams, a Johns Hopkins graduate, who's in his 11th season as the head coach of the Cavaliers. Up front, the Cavaliers are led by Chase Monroe, whose overtime game-winning goal has put Virginia into the Final Four. The midfield is led by Andy Krause, an outstanding face-off man, and David Smith, a native of Syracuse who's returned home to play in the Final Four. Defensively, Greg Leader is the man to watch. He's a hard-hitting freshman from Garden City, New York. And in goal, the All-American goaltender from 2 years ago, Peter Sheehan, who single-handedly knocked off Johns Hopkins to put Virginia into today's Final Four. And today, the Cavaliers meet the Big Red. We'll be back with the opening face-off coming up here, Dome, where a big crowd has gathered to see the Cornell Big Red and the Virginia Cavaliers. The winner meets Syracuse in the national championship game coming up. Here's a look at the field, and lacrosse is basically played on football fields, although a bit longer.
That's right, and the thing to watch here on this field is the hash marks that signify the width of the football field. are not the out of bounds of the lacrosse field. They're about 2 more yards on either end of that football field for these guys today. And, of course, the last stat there are the goals, 6 by 6. That's 36 square feet to shoot at. And, of course, at 6 feet tall, it's just about the height of the goalie as he goes from pipe to pipe.
Here are the officials for today's game. And, by the way, all of them will be wearing microphones, so we'll be able to hear them. The referee, Bob Schwalb. The umpire is Charlie Libby. John Gorman is our field judge, and George Cruz is the bench official. Of course, in some games, Leaf, they don't use that bench official, but in all the playoff games, they'll use that 4th official right between the 2 benches for substitution purposes.
Well, substitution has become such a critical part of the game that they need a guy right there to police that area. Let's take a look at the goalies, because that's the big story today. Peter Sheehan, 2 years ago, before last year's bout with mononucleosis, he was the first team All-American, the best goalie in the game. He took his team to the finals of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. There's his year's stats, and he had the game of his life to get past Hopkins to get here. Schmoller, last year, had a tremendous year, the first team All-America. So those are the best 2 goalies the last 2 years, each taking his team to the finals of the championships for 86 and 87, and both teams, of course, fighting for the right to get there this year.
Face-off between Andy Krause of Virginia and Joe Lizio of Cornell. Whistle blows, ball in play, here we go. Cornell has the opening face-off in the Big Red, wearing the white jerseys. Come on the attack.
Bill, what Cornell likes to do, Richie Moran hasn't changed much over the years. He likes a lot of motion in his offense. He'll give it back to the big feed man. That's Goldstein, number 15, right there. And you'll see a lot of cutting out front by all the players on the offense.
He won the Turnbull Award last year as collegiate lacrosse's finest attack man, but Cornell slumped at the beginning of this year when many people expected them to come out roaring.
Well, they lost 5 of their first 7 games. They didn't even expect to get into the playoffs at all. They were the 11th seed against a lot of people who thought they didn't deserve it, but here they are showing that they truly do deserve it, coming and rising to the occasion, hoping to get to the championship.
McDevitt, Lizio, and Cummings to the midfield. Here's Vince Angotti moving in on the right wing. He wears number 7.
Last year, Goldstein, Bill, had 73 assists. It was a record, an NCAA record. Tremendous player behind the goal.
Here he is in that situation right now. Feeds in front. That shot by McDevitt bounced wide, and Moran will chase it down. And whose ball is it? Virginia's. The Cavaliers have it.
And that's Greg Lear, the freshman from Garden City, who outran the attackman to the sideline and got possession back. There's Richie Moran on the sideline. What a history he has over there at Cornell, the 11th seed in this tournament, but they've been in the NCAA's 12 years with an 18-8 record. 3 titles in the 70s for that man, 71, 76, and 77. Jimmy Adams right now, again, 11th season at Virginia, another well-respected coach, 15th appearance in the NCAA's for Virginia. 14-12 was their record. They won the championship in 72, and they were here going into the finals 2 years ago when they lost in 86.
Virginia's Andy Krause couldn't handle that pass. Out of bounds, a turnover there for the Cavaliers, and Krause heads off. Jim Adams will send in his long stick midfield. Both teams have traveled a similar road. As the bottom seed, they had to win playoff games away from home to get to the Final Four.
Against great teams. We talked about the power of North Carolina and Hopkins. That's who these 2 teams beat to get here, both in very close games. Virginia going into overtime against Yale and against Hopkins to get to this game.
Here is Goldstein right now, being guarded behind the cage by Schupler. Goldstein beat him, running out in front, and Schupler does a fine job to cut him off.
Schupler's the real leader of that defense. He'll be back there playing the best man on that attack.
Here's a long shot taken that sailed well wide. That was Billy O'Hanlon, number 26, that fired it wide. No score early. The winner meets Syracuse for the national championship. Kevin Moran, Richie's son, to bring the ball in, and Leader guards him. Leader can be a big hitter behind the cage.
Interesting story about Moran, too. He didn't start this year until after the Syracuse game. That's when this Cornell team really went on a tear to get themselves in a position to even be in the playoffs. So Richie Moran is staying with that little bit of luck, and it's worked for the team. He's a starter.
Virginia ball. Here come the Cavaliers now. Mike Shatner fires it over to Steve Anderson into the attacking half of the field for Virginia's Cavaliers.
Down here in orange, the guy to watch is number 32, Chase Monroe. 5 goals against Hopkins.
Paul Schmoller picks up that loose ball, starts the Cornell clear, and here comes the Big Red from right to left. Mike Cummings into the goal area, winds up and shoots, and Peter Sheehan stopped that. We have 2 fine goaltenders here, and here's Sheehan, and he'll run it out from left to right.
Again, that's really the story. Both these goaltenders had the game of their season to get the teams here today. Each goaltender led their team to the championship game the last 2 years. Cornell in '87 and Sheehan for Virginia in '86.
Number 21 with the ball is Doug Amaker out of Lutherville, Maryland. Swings it over to Engelke, number 2. He's a Johns Hopkins transfer, playing here for Virginia. And how sweet was it for him to win last week at Homewood Field in Baltimore, eliminating the Blue Jays.
His brother played for Cornell in the '70s and was a tremendous player for that organization.
Andy Krause on a pass from Smith in the goal area, eyeing the cage. Feeds it over on the wing on the left side to Amaker. Now here's David Smith. Will run straight in. Good move to his left. Has a shot. Takes it. And the stop was made by Schmoller. Chase Monroe can't handle the rebound, and Cornell has it. Scoreless game. 3.5 minutes gone by. Opening quarter from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse.
You know, Bill, because these goalies are so great, we're going to do a little thing with our stat man over here. We're going to keep record of goals that are scored on second shots. Hopkins scored against Virginia more than half of their goals on second shots, meaning that Sheehan was up for the first save, and it was a second shot that really beat him. The defense has to be aware of that. We'll keep a track of it.
With the ball now is Vince Angotti, midfielder for the Big Red. Lobs it over to Lizio out of Massapequa Park, New York. Running in on the right side. Here's a good move by Lizio, but he couldn't handle the ball when it pops free to Wurzburger. Cornell resets with McDevitt, number 44. Over to Angotti, could not handle it. And regains it. He's guarded there by Pete McSherry, a senior out of Lynbrook, New York. Once again, Lizio on the near side. Cornell being patient here somewhat.
Big physical defense for Virginia.
Good move. Lizio shooting, and it was wide, and a flag is thrown. And we'll have our first man-up opportunity of the day.
One, orange, hold, 30.
Take a look at Sheehan in the goal as Garth Apel gets called for a hold right there. That's Garth Apel, a freshman. Not a bad move as we see Sheehan come out and try to cut the angle down on that shot by Cornell. But Garth Apel is only a freshman. Tremendous player out of Loyola in Baltimore, and he gets called for the penalty.
So the first man up of the day goes to the Big Red. They have it now. That means 6 attacking Cornell players against the 5 defensive Virginia players, plus the goaltender, Sheehan. Wurzburger could not come down with that ball in front. Goldstein tried to force it in there.
Oh, he did. Wurzburger and Goldstein, a tremendous combination. He's trying to feed it in there. The big, long sticks of Virginia knocking it down.
That long pass is picked off, open net. They tried to force it in there. Cummings tried the long shot, but it was knocked down by Shatner. Here's Mike Shatner.
Shatner real aggressive coming down with that ball. He's another freshman, West Genesee, so he's a local boy for this game.
Here's Steve Anderson moving into the goal area. That releases the penalty. He moves in and shoots and scores. Steve Anderson scores, and Virginia, a man down, takes the 1-0 lead. 4.5 minutes into the game.
Anderson's a great story. Here's a guy who has only shot 4 times this year, counting that shot, and he scored on 3 of his 4 shots. He's a tremendously accurate shooter. Watch the play as it develops. Anderson gets it in midfield. He sees that he can beat one man and go to the goal. That's what he does. He's out in the open field, beats the short stick, comes in, takes a bounce shot to the far pipe against Schmoller. Watch how Schmoller charts this all the way down. He's got him marked. He sees he comes in uncontested, and then goes down to his knees, a little bit distracted by his defenseman, but that'll be 1-0 for Virginia.
Cavaliers take the early lead. On a goal by Steve Anderson out of Huntington, New York.
Bill, what about that, Steve Anderson? He's shot 3 times during the season, scored on all 3 shots, came against Hopkins, could have won the game on a shot, his 4th shot of the year against Hopkins, and just missed the goal. And now in the playoffs takes his 4th shot of the year and gets, or actually his 5th shot and gets his 4th goal of the year. 4 for 5 for the season.
And actually a man-down goal. They were a man down when they started their clear.
That's why they're a little unsettled on the defensive end of the field.
Here's Engelke backing in for the Cavaliers, shooting. And Schmoller never knew where it was. Comes out to play it in front of the cage, and it's finally corralled by Cornell's Vince Angotti on the near side. Back to his own goal. He wasn't there. Easy goal. Cavaliers lead it 2-0. A giveaway goal there, and Doug Amaker just picked it off at an open net, and a Cornell mistake leads to the Cavaliers' 2nd goal of the game. They lead it 2-0.
Smart play by the senior Doug Amaker. Watch him poach in there in front of the goal. The ball will come out in front. Now, Amaker is sneaking in front of the crease area because that's where they like the feedback to Schmoller. He parks himself right in there in that safety area. The throw was a little bit high, and Amaker gets the benefit of that bad throw. Schmoller, the goalie, was well behind the goal. Not a good play by Cornell. That'll cost him.
Number 23 on the year for Amaker. And the Cavaliers lead it 2-0. Whistle blows, ball in play. Once again, the face-off is picked up by Andy Krause. Virginia on the run, leading 2-0. Over to Engelke on the far side.
Krause is a tremendous player. He's only a sophomore. He's got good bloodlines. His brother Steve graduated from Virginia in '80, and he was one of the best face-off men ever.
Man off the bench, Wakely nearly had the ball, but the pass was fired by Smith behind him.
Smith a little bit anxious. He saw the cutting Wakely going in there pretty fast. He had to check to see if he had the ball, and then fired it a little bit high.
They'll talk about it as they run off, and the long stick midfield comes in for Jim Adams, who's in his 10th season as the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers.
He's got to feel pretty good. Cornell's really had the ball probably a little bit longer than Virginia, but Virginia comes right down, and the 2 times they've touched it, they've put it in for a goal.
2-0. Cavaliers leading, 8:28 to play, first quarter. Schmoller tries the length of the field cleared. It's going to work. Goldstein at the far end is going to corral it down there. That's one way to clear the ball.
They had a high-pressure ride on. It wasn't a 10-man ride, but they were forcing that long throw, making him go ahead and attempt it, and he made it successful.
Here's Bill O'Hanlon moving in. He's guarded on the play by Anderson. The long stick midfield in there for Cornell. Rather from Virginia, and it's picked off by the Virginia goalie, Peter Sheehan. Here he comes from left to right. Wearing those sweatpants, Sheehan into the goal area. Nearly threw it away, and in fact, the Virginia player had to throw his stick at the ball to try to pull it down.
Both teams a little bit tight. I guarantee you're going to see both these teams handle the ball better as the game goes on. They're a little bit tight playing here in front of this crowd. It's a semifinal game. They're not handling the ball as well as they will in the second, third, and fourth quarter. Here's the way they came in. The lowest seeded teams ever to reach the Final Four, Virginia and Cornell, even though they are excellent as far as NCAA records. This shows the parity in lacrosse. 1988 has finally shown that they've got a lot of teams that are eligible to make it this far.
This is only the second year they've had 12 teams in the tournament. 5 years ago, only 6 were getting in.
The 12 teams get in, but you have to figure the West team is the 12th team. They really have no chance to make it. It's an automatic bid from the West, which is great for the game of lacrosse, but Air Force and the Colorados have a tough time playing the Eastern schools, so the 10th and 11th seed are the lowest realistic seeds to get into this Final Four, and they made it.
But in fairness to the Western teams, Michigan State had to play North Carolina. This year, Air Force got thrown into the fire.
Right. Sure. It's very tough for them, but it's good for them in the fact that there's something to shoot for. They learn from it. They come out here and play against the best, and it broadens the scope of lacrosse in the United States.
Here's Engelke with some room on the near side for the orange-clad Cavaliers of Virginia. They'd like to make it an all-orange championship game, advancing to meet Syracuse. Here's Engelke moving in. Good dodge, shooting, and Schmoller came out to make the save. He's an active goaltender, and he starts the counterattack for Cornell. Up the sidelines to Wurzburger. In Virginia real estate. Into the right offensive corner to Meyer. Steve Meyer seeing his first action of the day, threw it right to Sheehan. And now Virginia can counterattack. And Peter Sheehan starts the run-up with a good move as he comes close to midfield. Here's Chase Monroe. He's a big boy, 6'4". Crafty attack man, the Virginia all-time leading scorer. Now Amaker moves in and shoots, and the bounce shot deflected high. Out of bounds, it'll be Virginia ball. A lot of teams are using the bounce shot more and more, and I don't know how particularly effective it is on turf.
Well, you would think it wouldn't be that effective because it's a true bounce. But evidently, they feel that that's where you're going to beat Schmoller. If you get people in front of you, it's effective because it's a little bit of a screening situation. If you miss in front of the goalie with the bounce, you still have a chance to score because it can come up inside the goal. You shoot high, it's got to make it on the first time.
Number 1 is Garth Apelt, a freshman out of Baltimore for this Virginia team. He shoots, and it was wide. And again, they tried to go low on Schmoller.
Well, you can also see in front of the goal, we can once in a while take a shot of that crease area right in front of Schmoller. Virginia's packing a lot of players in front of them when they get the ball out front. Now they're working from behind, but a moment ago when they worked it out in front with Garth Apelt, there was... with a moving pick call, but watch for the screens. They're trying. They know Schmoller is a tremendous goalie. They're trying to get some screens in front of him to, obstruct his vision.
2-0, Virginia leading. 6 minutes, 13 seconds to play, first quarter.
Bill, you're familiar with this Carrier Dome. The air in here is very heavy right now, and you look on the surface, you say, boy, perfect conditions. If you were here, you wouldn't be saying that if you were a player. Very, very heavy air, like a humid condition. Definitely, if you're not taking the fluids, these players will feel the effects third, fourth quarter.
There's no sun. One would assume it can't be that hot inside, but it is here today at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Here's Vince Angotti as the Big Reds stay onside, and Charlie Caliendo has it in the attacking half of the field. Kevin Moran behind the cage, guarded by Leader. Cornell loves to have two men behind the cage, one to throw a pick and one to cradle. There you see how they do that. That feed in front comes all the way back towards midfield. Big Red, fine play. Angotti will chase it down.
Nothing really cohesive going for either team right now. They're just sort of pushing the ball all over the field. Both offenses still feeling things out.
Here's an opportunity now for Schmaltz behind the cage. Over to Amaker, number 21. And now Engelke, 5:18 to play. First quarter, 2-0 Cavaliers on top. In essence, a man-down goal and a giveaway goal by Cornell. Schmaltz, the sophomore out of New Jersey, feeds it back to the top of the box in Wakely out of East Setauket, New York.
So they have three guys now, too. They keep a lot of traffic in front of Schmoller. They're really trying to obstruct his vision.
Here's Mike Smith moving in, double team, lost the ball. Cornell's Caliendo goes behind his head and starts to clear. Here come the Big Red on the run, Bill O'Hanlon. Feeds it downfield. Here's a chance. Oh, and Moran bounced it wide as he tried to shoot behind his head. Cornell will hang on to possession, but a fine creative move at least by Kevin Moran, who went behind his head trying to beat Sheehan.
Well, watch Moran. The play will start way back here in the defenseman of the field, come up, give it to the breaking midi. That's Caliendo. Now he'll find Goldstein off to his left. Goldstein immediately gets it into the crease. Moran takes the shot, and he just misses the pipe.
Cavaliers of Virginia leading Cornell 2-0. First quarter action from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. 4 minutes, 43 seconds to play. And Cornell, looking for its first goal, has the ball, and John Wurzberger, a senior for the Big Red, angles in front. He shoots, and it was deflected high and wide of the cage, but there's Goldstein behind to regain.
Credit Shatner with that defense. Shatner came in double team, and that's why that shot went wide. But watch him working on Leader. He's only a freshman defenseman, and they'll pick on him a little bit here.
And Gotti with his back to the cage, angling in. Now Lizio, a senior. Cornell has had the time of possession here, Lee, but has not had that many shots.
Here's that same matchup, Meyer against Leader. Leader, the freshman.
Bad centering pass. Every play, it seems, behind the cage, they run a pick. They have two of their attackmen go behind the net.
Now, Steve Meyer, 27, who we saw isolate a minute ago, is not starting because of Moran, but he was the second leading scorer last year. A guy has tremendous experience, and he can score the goals.
Here he is with the ball now. High hit. Leader's a physical player. Flag is thrown. There's a shot and a goal. And Cornell takes the lead as Steve Meyer put it in. Well, Greg Leader is a physical player, but only a freshman. Meyer beating that time and scores Cornell's first goal. It's 2-1.
Well, Bill, the team kind of relaxed. Virginia sort of relaxed. You hear the call. Virginia sort of relaxed when the flag went down. There's Leader. He gets a double team from Shatner, and then he sort of relaxes because the flag was down, and he forgot that the play was a continuation. He didn't give it his all, and Sheehan really had a tough time when the guy's 3 feet from him. Watch him come right in on top of Sheehan, and once you bait the goalie, make him commit, that's an easy shot unless you get help from a sliding defenseman. The defense should have slid over and nailed Steve Meyer. They sort of relaxed because that flag was on the carpet, and they thought maybe the play would be stopped.
9th goal of the year for Meyer and his 20th point. Face-off cleanly won by Cummings into the goal area, feeds it off, and a shot is stopped by Sheehan once again as Goldstein let it fly. And this rebound is picked up by the Cavaliers, and Smith out of West Genesee High School comes up and takes a hit up high, and play goes on. The Virginia bench wanted a flag. The ball goes out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Big Red.
That was little Tim Goldstein 5'10", 145 pounds, who chased the Virginia player all the way up the field, and in a last-ditch effort dove next to him and got a piece of the stick. The ball came out, and he gets the benefit of that check. The ball goes back to Cornell.
Charlie Caliendo, who saw considerable playing time last year in Cornell's dream season, moves in, beat his man, but lost the ball, and Sheehan has it in his crease. And there's a crease violation on the Big Red. It'll be Virginia ball.
You can't play the ball when it's in the crease. When it's in that circle area and the goalie has possession of it, as long as he has only 1 foot in that crease. All right, there's the call, interference. As long as the goalie has 1 foot in that circle area, he's protected. You cannot check the stick. You can't interfere with him. That was the call right now. Possession back to Virginia.
These two teams haven't met since 1980, and the Cavaliers came away with a 9-8 victory in overtime. In fact, Virginia has won 3 of the 4 meetings between these two schools. 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Ivy League. You know, and it's a credit to the league, 2 of the 4 Final Four teams are from the Ivy League this year.
4 of them were picked for the field. They had a tremendous year in the Ivy. Cornell with a great history. Even though they lost 5 of the first 7, they've had 23 consecutive winning seasons.
Andy Krause whistles one wide of the cage, and Paul Schmoller. Virginia will hang on to the ball. Last year, Virginia had a down year.
Well,
Peter
really
Sheehan, their goaltender, missed most of the year. But this year, upon his return, the Cavaliers have made it all the way to the Final Four.
And they didn't have a great year either. They had a tough struggle this year, but they seem to be peaking at the right time.
Amaker shoots and misses. Rebound to Schmaltz. Feed in front, and Apel is stopped by Schmoller. A good save by the Cornell goaltender, who starts to clear from right to left with 2:14 to play in the first quarter.
Well, that's a freshman shot. Garth just didn't find, you know, a small area of the goal. He shot it right to the meat of the goal. An easy save for Schmoller. The freshman Garth Apel's going to have to pick his spots a little better, take his time, go to the corner.
Here's Meyer, who has Cornell's lone goal of the day with 2 minutes to play. Angling in front, and he's knocked down and lost the ball. And there's that tough Virginia defense once again. They enjoy hitting.
They can be physical as any team in the NCAAs. Now, against Hopkins, they absolutely leveled Hopkins in the first quarter. The effects of that physical play were felt all through the game.
Shatner feeds his man in front. That's Engelke, who almost tried the whistle one, but thought smartly brings it back towards midfield with 1.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2-1 Virginia. You see the changes from the left side where the benches are.
Engelke, number 2, had the ball. He had a shot already today, but he's not really a good shooter. Not much velocity. He's more effective as a feeder.
Schmaltz draws a flag, and Schmoller made a great save on him. But nonetheless, Virginia will have an extra man opportunity now.
Holding.
That'll be a holding on Matt Gleason.
30 seconds.
Matt Gleason wraps him up. You can see the move coming inside, and you don't want to get Schmaltz in tight, so Gleason knows that. Rather than give him the open shot against Schmoller, he just tries to wrap him up and hold him with the stick. Maybe he wouldn't get a foul call, but the chance of him going in there one-on-one against Schmoller, that's the chance he didn't want to take.
And that was a heck of a save by Schmoller, too.
Schmoller showing his skill. Again, he's one of the best. Last year, he was the best.
6 Virginia attackers, 5 Cornell defenders. On the extra man, 1:03 to play. Here's Amaker over to Krause. Out of the top of the box, Virginia feeds in front. Oh, and Schmaltz couldn't handle it, lost it.
It was Amaker, but Amaker missed it. You're right. He had the ball in the stick and just missed the shot.
Krause shoots and scores. Andy Krause zings it in by Schmoller, and the Cavaliers lead it 3-1.
Interesting series. They really had it their own way. Amaker had a shot early on in that series. Could have beaten Schmoller because he was only 3 feet from him. They maintained possession, and here's how it ends up. Virginia with good ball movement, and that's how you beat any good defense. Watch it go from right to left to out front. Now look at the defense sliding out. All 3 guys out of position, and that gave Krause all the time he needed to give it a full velocity shot to beat Schmoller in the upper left-hand corner. Good ball movement by Virginia. They count on a lot of people, Bill. They don't have any huge stars. Andy Krause is a good player, but they use the full offense, count on a lot of different players to contribute.
Goal number 26 on the year for Andy Krause, and he tries to come away with his face-off.
Cornell's been doing pretty well in face-offs.
And Cummings comes away with it over to Angotti on the left side. Wide open. Wine shoots and scores. Vince Angotti makes it 3-2. They just collapsed and let him shoot, and he had to take the shot, and he went up high on Sheehan and and picked the corner. It is 3-2.
Charles White and Mike Smith, 22 and 17, get confused. Look at 22, White. He looks into 17 and say, hey, pick him up. And 17 keeps sinking in lower. At the top of your screen, he picks up another player. Consequently, nobody's playing Vince Angotti. He walks in to where he has it, all where he wants it, fires up the high-velocity shot. Same area that Shimola was just beat on, away from the goalie stick, upper corner. And the fact is, he was just too tight for Sheehan to have any chance to save that one.
First goal of the day, 14th of the season for Angotti. And here we go once again with the face-off between Lizio and Krause. And Krause wins easily from left to right. Virginia on the attack again. 25 seconds to play in the quarter.
They'll substitute now and get Chris Wakely into the game. He's a real good offensive sophomore from Ward Melville.
They're going to hope for the last shot here. 10 seconds to play. Here's Krause, moves in, firing. Smoller got a piece that deflected away, and with 5 seconds left, the clock is stopped, and Virginia has one more chance.
Shimola was barking at his defense there.
Again, the winner here today will advance to meet Syracuse in the national championship. The Orangemen defeated Penn by 1 goal to advance into the final. Here's a shot at the end of the quarter that sails out of bounds with 1 second left, and Cornell will have the ball with 1 tick showing on the Carrier Dome clock. You know, it's quite a trip from Charlottesville, Virginia to Syracuse, not so far from Ithaca. Only about an hour and a half away.
So you're saying that sort of a home field advantage for Cornell.
They're one of 3 teams that have won on this field against Syracuse. But to get to Syracuse again, they have to beat Virginia. And after 1 quarter of the national semifinals, the Cavaliers have the lead. Virginia 3 and Cornell 2. Afternoon at 1 o'clock for the championship game. The winner of our game between Virginia and Cornell will meet Syracuse for the national championship. So we'll have a new champion this year. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern time.
Some kind of prize, right, Bill? You get to go against Syracuse, who wins their games by an average of 10.5 goals every time they come on the field this year.
Whistle blows to start the second quarter, and an illegal procedure call.
Charlie Libby barking it out, wasn't he?
We have all of the officials mic'd here today, and that's something new. Of course, in the National Football League, we can mic 1 referee, but here we have all 4 officials with microphones, so we can hear exactly the calls regardless of which official makes it.
I've seen a lot of these games, Bill, and over the years, I think the NCAA is really doing a nice job of trying to make the game more attractive to the fan.
Flag is down, delayed whistle coming up, and there the whistle blows. The ball was outside of the box, and that's why play was stopped, and here's the call.
23, White, interference, 30 seconds.
Which means Virginia goes a man up, and the Cavaliers, who already have 1 extra man goal on the day, will go a man up once again. Into the penalty box goes Mike DiStefano.
Virginia scored the first time they had a chance for EMO. Taking a look at David Purdy. A lot of cutting from both teams on the offenses. That's what they like to do. They count on a lot of people, a lot of motion. And when you get a lot of motion, the way to stop that is to try to bottle up the cutter, but you can't stand in his way. That's against the rules. You just can't interfere with his path if he wants to cut through.
3-2, Virginia leading. Cavaliers have the ball and the man up. So there's 6 orange shirts against 5 white shirts inside the box. Amaker, here's a shot and a goal by Tom Burt. And Virginia makes it 4-2 as Burt got it back from Amaker. And man, whistled a shot way up high. It is his 9th goal of the year, actually 7th goal of the year for Burt, and what a shot.
I tell you, Burt really puts velocity on it, but the biggest thing about that shot was that it was so accurate, it hit the exact corner on the stick side. Watch, good velocity, but right up in the corner, bingo. That's where his stick was, Shimola's stick. It had to be totally accurate to find that small little area in the corner on the stick side. Give Tom Burt a lot of credit. He beat a great goalie in a very tough spot.
And later in the second quarter. And the Virginia Cavaliers have a 1-goal lead over the Cornell Big Red. The winner takes on Syracuse for the national championship.
You talk about both these teams having a pretty much of a similar path to get to this point. Virginia had a tough time early in the season as well. We know that Cornell lost 5 of their first 7. Well, Virginia started off strong. Then they had a downtime where they lost 4 games. They weren't sure they'd make it into this 12-team playoff structure.
Here comes the Big Red on the run. Once again, there's a shot of the save as Sheehan made the save. Now the Big Red counterattack with some heavy hitting. Now the hitting's starting to pick up. That ball rolls out of bounds. It will be Cornell ball. And some of the fans who are up from Ithaca start to get into things here. It didn't take them long to get here.
Bill, on that initial play, it was John Snow, a riding attackman, who got the ball. This is later on. And look at the contact on the sideline. Richie Moran puts in some fresh legs to ride, try to get the ball back from Virginia. And look at the hustle on the sideline by Virginia. But the guy, John Snow, the player who is not a regular, a freshman, was effective in the ride, got the ball back, and came down with a pretty inexperienced shot against Sheehan.
Big Red looked to tie. Here's a shot. It was deflected off of a helmet, I believe, popped into the air, and Cornell regained.
Cornell starting to handle the ball better. You can tell the difference between right now and the first quarter. The first quarter, they were just a little tentative. They weren't handling it very much, not much motion.
Here's Meyer, beat his man, moves in and scores. Steve Meyer, his 2nd goal of the game, his 10th goal of the year, and we are tied at 4-4 as Meyer made a fine individual move to tie it up.
Well, Meyer at 6'4", 185 pounds, has a good matchup size-wise against this big, strong, physical defense of Virginia. Let's watch as he goes one-on-one for the 2nd time today against the defense. Greg Leader again, the freshman. This is the 2nd time he's beaten him one-on-one. Leader doesn't get the stick. Myers comes right around him and beats Sheehan. Sheehan had little or no chance as long as Meyer found the goal. Timeout called by Virginia. Ace Adams trying to get his team back
Jim
together.
Adams wants to talk about it. He has seen Cornell come back from a 4-2 deficit to tie it up. Big Red 4 and the Cavaliers 4. Howdy now on the near side. In the end zone of the football field in the deep corner. Here's the pick behind the cage. Feed in front, and Wurzburger could not handle the pass.
The play was successful, though. They're getting the feeds into a good motion offense in front of Sheehan. A better pass, and they're going to have a goal right there. It'll keep working. They're very patient. A lot of motion out front.
Steve Meyer comes out in front.
That's that new matchup.
Yep. And Angotti may get a shot here. He will. He scores! Vince Angotti.
Steve Anderson went in there for the slide. He was a short sticks midfielder. He didn't take him down. He didn't take Angotti down. You've got to go through the numbers and knock the player down if you're a sliding, helping out defenseman. Consequently, Angotti goes through 2 players. Now watch the slide come. Number 10 will come in there and try to help him out. Right there goes out front. Now here comes the slide. Watch 10 in front of us. Here it comes right there's 10. Anderson comes over, misses the help, and gives Angotti the shot on Sheehan. First lead of the day by Cornell.
They trailed 4-2. They've come back to take a 5-4 lead.
So 3 straight goals by 3 different players.
Kyle, Meyer, and Angotti.
And 6 straight face-offs for Virginia, which is not showing up in the offensive stats as far as goal production.
Here's the Cavaliers on the attack right now. Schmaltz behind the cage. Out to David Smith, number 7. He flips it to Krause. 10 yards from the cage. He gets it back to Smith. That pass is thrown away back to midfield. And Cornell has it. Here's an opportunity for the Big Red. Shot, save by Sheehan. It nearly rolled in after he had made the save.
Paul Shea came now. What a tremendous shot. Sheehan with an equally tough save. That's what the long sticks can do for you. They can really handle the ball. You got to play them all the way.
Here's Apelt in the attacking half of the field. Beat his man. Now David Smith on the right wing. Over to Chase Monroe. He's been held off the scoreboard today. In fact, the big guns for both teams have been held scoreless thus far.
Yeah, they're shut off Monroe, and Schupler for Virginia is doing a great job against Goldstein. Goldstein makes that offense click. he's really winning that matchup.
Here's a shot that took a funny hop, and the rebound is put in by Engelke. The shot from way out in front took a funny hop in front. Schmoller made the save, and the rebound came right in front to Engelke, and he put it home.
Great job by Engelke to stay with that. That's the way you beat a good goalie many times. He'll make the first save. You've got to be alert because the second shot may be the one where you'll have the best advantage. Watch the shot from Apel. Bounces off Schmoller, and right there, Engelke picks it up and very quickly gets it in above Schmoller. Very opportunistic. Watch the two defensemen come in there and cream Engelke after the shot, but he was wise enough to get it in there very quickly. A good heads-up play.
Richie Moran wants to talk about it. He calls timeout. Tie game, 5-5. He won the play first half. With 3:41 to play, first half.
That's the danger of letting the long sticks clearing midfielder come in too far. It used to be they would come across the midfield stripe and run off the field. Not anymore. They're too good. They've got great sticks. Watch, he's to the right of your screen. He keeps running rather than go back and play defense. He comes in with that long stick. Nobody picks him up. And with that big, long piece of aluminum, he gets a lot of velocity on it. Watch this. The feed wasn't great, but he scoops it in. No defense against him. Just fires it high and hard, and was able to find the left-hand corner.
That is his first career goal.
And a big one. Puts the team ahead, 6-5.
Usually those defensive midfielders don't have many opportunities to score, but Tony Morgan makes it 6-5 Cornell.
Sophomore. That's going to go on his personal highlight reel, I'm sure.
You bet it is. The folks in Arnold, Maryland will tape that one. Here's Garth Apel for Virginia. Cavaliers down by a goal now to the Big Red, 6-5. Apel flips to Smith. Now to Krause running a weave. 20 yards from the cage. Apel had that ball go right off the shaft of his stick. Smith was there to regain, but then lost it. Cornell has the ball. Here comes the Big Red on the break. Joe Lizio threw it over the head of Shave, and here they come. Big Red on the run. Pass in front. Shot. Score! Wurzburger scores. It is 7-5 Cornell.
Well, that's textbook lacrosse. That's what Richie Moran loves to see. Move the ball and get them running. If you make 3 passes, it's going to be very tough to stop you from scoring. This is what lacrosse is all about. Fast break. It'll go to your right. Now the defense slides. Watch the Orange go over. All he has to do is get it to the left, which he does, and then it's Wurzburger against Sheehan. One more time. The first pass makes the defense commit. Now the defense slides. He goes all the way across the field. Wurzburger's all alone because the defense is already committed. He gives it the full cannon shot, and Sheehan again is face-to-face, Bill, with a guy who's shooting from 5 yards, full head of steam. Very tough to make those saves. 7-5.
We pick up action later in the second quarter. Whistle blows. Let's see what Richie Moran drew up. O'Hanlon over to Caliendo.
Bill, last comment after Syracuse question. I don't think anybody matches up well against Syracuse if they do what they can do. It's more or less, are they on their game that day?
15, Tim Goldstein with 30 seconds left. Glances at the clock. That's Schutler guarding him now.
He's done a good job against Goldstein all day today.
Corrigan guarding Meyer.
They'll go down to 10 seconds and try and move it in for that one shot.
As we count down the seconds at the end of the half, here's an opportunity. The ball loose in front still. Meyer goes down. They score. As the horn goes off, it counts.
Great play by Wurzburger. Wurzburger came in there and picked up that loose ball. That's why the second shot can be so important. We talked about that it may be a factor. You've got to stay on the ball and not give them an easy goal. Take a look. The great goalies will make the first save. You've got to stay on top of that ball. She had made the first move. Look at the ball's loose out in front. He's in there playing with it now, but it bounces out to Wurzburger, who sees Sheehan out of the goal trying to get possession, and that's it.
I'll tell you something, Leaf. Look at this, and you don't tell me if Cornell right there is a man in the crease. Caliendo's in the crease.
Well, very close. From our angle, it's a compression shot, so it's hard to tell.
It is halftime, and Cornell has a 3-goal lead on Virginia. The Big Red lead it 8-5. It is halftime at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, and the Big Red of Cornell have an 8-5 lead over the Virginia Cavaliers. A late goal with no time remaining on the clock has given the 3-goal lead to Cornell. This is Bill Roth along with Leif Elsmo, and coming into the game, we knew perhaps it was going to be close, and it has been till the last few minutes.
Well, Cornell's finally getting their offense on track. They count on a lot of people, and where they'll kill you is if they get good ball movement, and that's what's happening right now. Meyer was effective early on with a one-on-one situation. Now they're getting good ball movement, and Virginia has to stop that. It's better to go ahead and sit on your player and not try to slide around and help, which Virginia is apt to do a lot of times, and make them go ahead and shoot one-on-one. Don't let the ball move a lot. Cornell does it well.
Virginia had a couple of extra man opportunities in the first quarter. They converted on 2 of them, the first from Andy Krause.
Andy Krause is a great player. We'll watch it set up. The ball goes over to Andy, and he'll take a shot from out front. Now it's right out top to Andy Krause. The defense slides, all 3 guys getting there late, and he happens to find that upper left-hand corner. Now let's watch the ball movement for Cornell. They do it so beautifully. The ball starts off in midfield. Look at that. They take off, a lot of speed. They'll make 2 or 3 passes and burn you every time. The ball goes right across the plane of the goal. Wurzburger's parked there. The defense is out of position, and he beats Sheehan, who was looking at a 5-yard shot, full speed. Very tough to defense.
As Leif had mentioned, these 2 teams have been to the national championship game over the last couple of years. They'd like to get back in there. One of these teams is going to get there with a victory here today. Let's look at the halftime statistics right now, and what we'll see is that Virginia had a couple more shots in the first half than Cornell.
Well, they should, because they had, look at that, 8 more face-offs. So when you dominate the face-offs the way UVA has done, you would think that those shots would equate 2 goals and put them ahead. Not the case today. They've got to get better shot selection and keep the Cornell team from getting their ball movement, and maybe most importantly, they've got to get Chase Monroe involved in the game. Here's a guy who beat Hopkins almost single-handedly, had 5 goals, the leading goal scorer of all time. He's not been a factor yet. He's got to get on the charts.
Cornell leads it 8-5 at halftime. We'll have the start of the second half from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. And up next on ESPN.
Under the dome.
Halftime, Cornell 8, Virginia 5. If you missed the other semifinal scores, Syracuse, Paul Gates scoring late in the fourth quarter to give the Orangemen the victory over Pennsylvania in the other semifinal.
And Penn should be congratulated. They did everything but win the game. They controlled the tempo of the game. They did everything they wanted to do. They took the Gates literally out of the game, even though Gary had some history making goals over the top from behind. They really changed the whole tempo of the Syracuse attack and just about pulled off the upset of the day.
There have been some other great stories in lacrosse this year. A tremendous season for Loyola.
It's a great year for Loyola, no question about it. They were ranked 5th in this 12-team tournament and just about beat Penn to get the chance to play Syracuse.
Here we go, second half underway. Virginia in the orange has the ball. Shatner couldn't come down with that. Engelke will try. Going to be picked up by Cornell. Here's Vince Angotti in the corner. Out to Brian McCormick. Let's see how he can run with the ball. He seems to still have fresh legs here. McCormick has some room. Running by Smith. Smith catches up with him, and McCormick wisely gives it up to Tim Goldstein, number 15.
So the lowest seeded team now with the lead, the chance to go into the finals. Sure would be sweet for Richie Moran.
Here's his son, Kevin Moran, 5'9", 170-pound senior, and he flips it over to his teammate. Now back towards the top of the box, the Lizio.
Now again,
the 11th seeded team, as you mentioned earlier, has the opportunity to get into the championship. Here's McDevitt.
I was just thinking about ball movement. They go into a one-on-one sort of a clear-out situation, very unlike Cornell.
Moran even with the cage. Back to McDevitt. They have 3 players behind the cage. Now Joe Lizio on the right wing in the box area. Left-handed shot coming up, and he bounced it wide.
That was a goal. All he had to do was hit the 36 square feet. He missed it. What they did there was Lizio went against the short stick of Andy Krause. He went one-on-one, beat him, and then got in very close for a shot. Tremendous play. Again, the success of Cornell in that second quarter, Bill, was that they moved the ball, made several passes to get Sheehan moving. If you get a good goalie moving, you got a chance to beat him. If he sits there and parks on your shot, can really get a good sight on who's going to shoot it, chances are he'll make the save. If you pull the string and throw it 2 or 3 times, get him to go across the plane of the goal, better chance of making him the GOAT on the shot.
Here's the Cavalier clear. Andy Krause, who has a goal today, runs up into the box on the left side. Now to Garth Apelt. Good fake. Moves in. Beat 2 men on the play. Shot it wide.
He was so surprised that he still had the ball. He had to check his stick. Went through 2 players. The ball was low. The stick was low. Dropped it down and went with a low shot. We'll see if Virginia made any adjustments. They've really got to move the ball more because Schmoller is so strong. If you don't make him move in the goal, you're not going to beat him.
8-5 the score. Cornell leading. Here's Amaker. Over to Engelke. Now Garth Apelt has the ball. Cornell plays a man-to-man defensively. Apelt beat him. Shooting. Nearly weaved its way through that maze of Cornell players in front of the cage.
That was a pretty interesting shot because he did have a lot of people in front of Schmoller. He went low, but Schmoller was able to go down with the shot and see through all that screening feet and leg mass, pick up the save. Apelt with 2 shots, he's really pushing up the tempo. He's a freshman. I think he knows how important the second half is going to be.
Now they'll start to click. Here's Charlie Caliendo. And Schmoller. 8-5 the score. Big Red leading there in the white jerseys. The lower seeded team. The orange-clad Cavaliers seeded 10th are the higher seeded team in this game.
Cornell had the hot streak at the end of the year, unlike Virginia, which was more in the middle. So Cornell really came on strong toward the end of the year, right into the playoffs.
Here's Tim Goldstein, draws a flag. Cornell will go a man up, but first a shot, and the save by Sheehan, who made a fine stop on Cummings. And now the man-up attempt for the Big Red.
Schubler's talking to the referee as he makes the call. He can't believe it, and that really was a questionable call. Was not very aggressive. Could have gone either way.
Well, let's make our own decision as Schubler gets called for the cross check right here.
Well, that was right after the play, but I'll tell you, you'll see that push. They called on him 10 times, and 8 times they won't call it a push. It's just a little bit of readjustment of the offensive player. He didn't knock him back very much. When you push a 5'10" player, he's going to move, so the referee should take that into consideration.
Cross check.
Cornell with the extra man, leading by 3 goals. Here's Goldstein behind the cage. They pass it clockwise around the perimeter. Here is Goldstein now. Here's the shot by Cummings, and he scores! It is 9-5 Cornell as Cummings zings it in up high. An extra man goal for the Big Red.
Another high shot on Sheehan. They must have something on him because they've really been riddling Peter Sheehan with the high, hard shots. Now this one goes right up in the upper left-hand corner. We'll take a look at it as it goes from behind the goal up top. Not enough pressure on him, so he walks in there and just cranks it up. That's a shot that Peter Sheehan has got to make a save on. But he doesn't, and Cornell's off to a 4-goal lead.
The Big Red has built its biggest lead of the game at 4 goals, 9-5. For Cummings, his 9th goal of the season, and his 13th point. Whistle blows on the draw. Here's Krause counterattacking for Virginia to Amaker. Feeds in front to Smith. He shoots, and the stop was made by Schmoller, who got the stick up high, and Schmoller looks hot. He's pumping his fist after he made the save.
Well, Smith made him look good on that one. He literally just hit him in the face with the shot. He came in there real close. Was confused because when your goalie's going hot, you don't know where to shoot, and that's what it looked like to me with Smith. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to go high or low, so he ended up just hitting him right in the face area.
9-5 the score. Cornell leading.
Cornell is definitely gaining confidence. You can see it, Bill. They're just getting more and more sure of themselves. They're running closer, playing tougher defense.
Schmaltz beat his man, but forgot one thing, the ball. And there's the flag, and Virginia will go a man up, and they've been potent with the extra man today. They have 2 extra man goals. Let's hear this call now from the official.
White on the head. 1 minute.
So not only do they lose a defenseman, they lose their best defenseman into Stefano.
He's their captain. He'll come off. He's been taking on the leading scorer in the last few games, and in the last 2 games had him scoreless. So he's definitely a catalyst to that defensive end of the field. And as you mentioned, we've had, let's see, this is the 4th opportunity for Virginia. They're 2 for 3 before this. Cornell also 2 for 3 in extra man.
Here's Chase Monroe. He's yet to score today. They need to get him into the offense somewhat.
They gotta find a way. Leading score. Yeah, they got to find a way to get him the ball.
Here's Engelke. Over to Amager. Monroe stationed to the right of the cage. Here's Wakely. Turning, shooting. Schmoller the save. Rebound comes down to Cornell.
Well, Schmoller's hot, and he's got the offense thinking. They don't know where to shoot. The guy is turning back every shot they make, so consequently the offense is taking shots they wouldn't normally take.
Brian McCormick lugging at the length of the field, tried to beat Angotti, and came all the way through on the near side to Goldstein, and he's run out of bounds and gets the ball back in play to Angotti.
Heady play by Goldstein. He knew he couldn't pick it up and control it because he had a defenseman on his back. He just hit it over to Angotti for possession.
They get it in the box, and that releases the penalty. So we're all even up once again. And Meyer has it with 10 minutes to play in the quarter. Cornell 9, Virginia 5. Here's Goldstein behind the cage. Goldstein to Meyer. That was a familiar phrase last year in the lacrosse world. Here's Meyer again.
And the matchup is Corrigan again. He didn't start on him, but he's on him now. Did a good job in the second quarter.
Meyer is double teamed. Whistle blows from behind. And here's the call.
27. White. Hold the ball. So late again. Orange.
That'll give the ball back to Virginia when we come back. 8:39 to play. Cornell leads by 4. Cavaliers have been shut out in this half. And now Engelke has it, number 2. Boy, Chase Monroe, their all-time leading scorer. I don't even remember him having that many opportunities here today, Lee.
He's only had the ball a couple times. Brian McCormick's on him now, senior.
There's a shot that rang off the pipe to the left of Schmoller. He may have gotten a piece of it as well as it rolls back to midfield, and Cornell has a tremendous opportunity right now. Here's a pass in front, shot, and a great save by Sheehan, who just robbed Wurzburger, or rather Goldstein. He robbed Goldstein, and counterattacking is Smith. He had the ball knocked away from behind. Monroe can't pick it up in front, and Schmoller will as we go end to end.
Monroe missed a great chance right there. The ball's right in front of him. He was a little tentative. He was anticipating getting hit and let the ball get away from him.
How about the save by Sheehan on Goldstein? As he robbed him. Here's another look.
Well, Sheehan has to make these now. They're down by 4. He's capable of making as many great saves as Schmoller. His defense just has to give him some better chances by taking away those high percentage shots. A tremendous year 2 years ago. Last year, mononucleosis sat out. He's a grad student now. This is his final year, his last hurrah. And he's going to do it. Either he's going to do it or Schmoller. They're going to lead these teams into one of these teams into the final game against Syracuse.
Number 3, Tom Bird out of Baltimore swings it over to Mike Smith.
Schmoller is really hot. You can see him pumping his fist, Bill. He is really on a roll.
He's saying, shoot the ball at me, and Bird will try. Here it comes, and it was wide, but Smith was behind to back it up. It'll be Virginia ball with 7:49 to play in the third quarter. The Big Red leading 9-5.
They got to figure out a way to get Monroe open. Maybe set some picks in there so that he can break off some other people, get the ball, turn and shoot. They seem to be moving different defensive players on him. I've seen 3 different defensive players play him so far this period.
Here's Schmaltz trying to weave his way in front. He's tripped, and Virginia will go up a man again.
23,
Well, now they have a minute with the man advantage, and it's almost crucial that Virginia get Chase Monroe into the action. And this will be a great time for it.
Again, that's DeStefano coming out of the game. He's playing a very aggressive game. Virginia scored in their first 2 extra man opportunities. They didn't score in the last 2, although they had good shots. 2 for 3, 2 for 4. Critical when a goalie's this hot for Virginia to go ahead and break that little shell that Schmoller's building up. He's really riding a wave of success. You've got to break it with this extra man play.
Here's Burt pulling the trigger and wide. He has the hardest shot of the team, I think we can say. He is their trigger man.
Well, whoever you put up in that upper right-hand corner is going to have the great hard shot because that's where you get it. It's a right-handed shot, and you pretty much have the shot every time.
Here it is again. This time he doesn't get it off. They've made a change. They have Nick Ray on the field for the first time on the man up. He's playing off the near post on the near side. Here is a Burt shot. He passed it up, and it went right in onto the cage. I didn't think he was trying to pass it. It went all the way to the cage, and Cornell has a great opportunity now as Goldstein comes into the box. That releases the penalty, and we're all even once again.
Burt was trying to hit Amaker, who was poaching in there close to the crease, but that's not what Burt's paid to do, so to speak, out in that right-hand corner. Right-hand corner guy's got to go ahead and take that hard shot. He's got it. That's why he's positioned there, and try to beat the goalie.
We have an offside call. It'll be Virginia ball. Too many men on the field for Richie Moran. Richie doesn't look too happy about it, does he?
Say what, the referee is the chief box official. We talked about chief bench official. The referee that can follow the substitutions in this game is a pretty good referee. They're coming in and out of there all the time, switching units as they go across the midfield stripe, so that's a tough call to make. I'm sure it was accurate, but it's very difficult, and a lot of good trained eyes that can pick that up.
Jim Adams barking out at his team, which has been blanked so far in this quarter.
They need a goal bad. 4 straight goals by Cornell after it was tied at 5. And they had a chance with that extra man situation. Now the last 3 shots on extra man, 0 for 3. Shots for Virginia, 30-19 for Cornell, so they're out shooting. They're dominating the face-offs, but Cornell taking the better shots.
And at one time, the shots were even at 30.
The people went off. Orange only has 9 men on the field. Delay game, white.
Well, there's the call, and Jim Adams is hot on the Virginia bench. He's saying he had his 9 men on the field, but the officials say no. The beeper, meaning the timer, went off. Time to make the substitution. And as a result, Cornell gets a break and the ball, and Adams is hot now.
Well, I don't know there was a rule that you couldn't play with 9 people. Why wouldn't they let you play with 9 people? I mean, that's not helping you out at all. That's bizarre. I guess that they didn't put the ball in play was the real infraction. It was a delay of play call, but what the heck's wrong playing with 9 people? That can't benefit you at all. Let them go.
You want to play with 6? Play with 6.
Play with 6.
6:45 to play. It's been that type of quarter for the Cavaliers. They've been shut out, and it is 9-5 in the game. Here's Tim Goldstein behind the cage. Over to Meyer.
A lot of different players have scored for Cornell for their 9 goals. Goldstein not a factor in the scoring, but he definitely controls the offense of the team.
Here's a shot. Oh, and it rang off the pipe by Cummings. Almost snuck that one in by Sheehan, who might be thinking to himself now, they're going up high on me in this entire quarter, and this one beat me and went off the left pipe, to the pipe to the left of the goalie.
It's a great shot because, look, it's a right-handed shot, which means he has that extra angle off to his right, and he just shoots for that far pipe, meaning that if he misses it, he'll get backup help from his team. They will keep the ball. Excellent shot. Had it been another inch to the left, it would have stayed inside the net.
6 minutes left in the quarter. Again, Cornell continuing to dominate in this quarter. They've scored only the 1 goal in this period, but the Cavaliers have been shut out completely. Behind the net is Goldstein. They're hitting him heavily.
Constant motion on the crease. That's what Richie does at Cornell. He keeps a lot of motion going there, gives Goldstein a lot of people to shoot to, give the feed to, so that they can shoot.
O'Hanlon misses. Meyer backing up to Cummings on the near side, number 6. And now to Caliendo.
No rush for Cornell. 4-goal lead. A little ball control is not going to hurt.
Here's Goldstein.
Let's go Reds, the chant from the crowd.
Now Meyer has an opportunity. Slow and methodical offense here by the Big Red. Meyer scores! Great goal. Tremendous goal by Meyer.
Well, Corrigan killed himself on that one. He had good body position. There was no reason to go over the head. And when he went over the head, he took himself out of the play. We'll take a look at it. Meyer is big and strong and physical. Watch how he goes in. Now, Corrigan, watch the numbers. Corrigan's got good position on the body, but he elects to go over the head, which takes him out of the play. Meyer holds the ball, gets the shot. That's a killer for them. 5-goal lead.
Cornell has opened up its biggest lead of the game. The 10, the Cavaliers 5. Has built its biggest lead of the game at 10-5. They've scored the 2 goals that have gone in this third quarter. And we're getting set for another face-off, and you have to think 2 things have to happen here for Virginia. Number 1, they have to pick up the tempo, and number 2, they have to get Monroe into the game somewhat.
Well, they need goals. There's no question about it. They're controlling the face-off in a big way, but they need to equate that into good shots and goals.
Here's Smith with a shot, and Schmoller went down to make the save.
Schmoller right now is on a cloud. He's having a sensational game. It's tough to beat him. They got to sneak one by him to get him to think a little bit.
Here's Engelking, or rather, a shot.
Tony Morgan again.
Morgan.
Second goal of his career, the sophomore out of Arnold. What a storybook game for this kid.
And now it's Cornell.
It all starts from the goalie. We'll take a look at down here. Schmoller. Smith in close. Schmoller, very confident, just goes right down to pick it up. A good goalie like he is, fires out of the goal. Watches he gets it, he reacts. He's very pumped up. Now on the other end of the field, they go down, and this is Tony Morgan with a defense stick. The second time today. His second shot of his career for a goal. He's got 2 goals, and Cornell's got a 6-goal lead. Trouble for the Cavaliers.
Due to time constraints, we must move ahead to further action.
Chase Monroe is running around the crease area looking for a feed. So they've got to be wary of him. That's what Cornell's doing. They're sort of sliding in there, giving a little pressure to the ball, and then also being real aware of where number 32, Chase Monroe is.
Here's Nick Ray bringing it in. Here's the shot, and the save made easily by Schmoller.
Right then, Chase Monroe was wide open. If they would have hit Chase Monroe, he would have had probably the best shot they've had this quarter against Schmoller, but they didn't give it to him. They took the shot from out front. An easy save for this hot Schmoller.
And he outlets it on the near side. That's a tough pass to handle. Good play. 14 is Lizio. Good pass upfield. Here's an opportunity for McDevitt into the goal area. Beating, shooting, scoring. Vincent Gotti scores, and it's 12-5 Cornell.
It's all ball motion. You move the people, you move the ball. It's very simple in lacrosse if you get it going. And they're making it look real easy on the Cornell side. Peter Sheehan getting a lot of shots within 5 yards of him. It's not fair to him. He's a tremendous goalie. But watch the motion. Cornell just cracks it up, pushes it in here, makes the defense spread out, and then moves the ball. And Gotti gets it last, and he just fires it high. Definitely, they've been using the high shot to beat Peter Sheehan.
Second goal of the game for Vincent Gotti of Cornell, and his 15th goal of the season.
So now even more pressure as the time runs down. They better get one shot here. 10 seconds left this quarter.
Smith with 5. Moves in. They score with 3 seconds left.
Big goal for Smith, and it was a screen that beat Schmoller. They had a lot of activity in front of them. They tried to work that earlier on, Bill, and now it seemed to have worked because they got congestion in front of Schmoller. And a nice, easy shot. It wasn't a tremendous shot, but because of all the people in front of Schmoller, it works. Watch how he drives in, and he bounces past all those people. Look, there's 4 folks right in front of Schmoller. He didn't get the chance to see it. It bounces past him.
Cornell had scored 7 goals in a row, and Cornell had built a 12-5 lead. It is now 12-6 as Smith scores with 3 seconds left, and this face-off will be simply a formality as the whistle blows. Cummings picks it up as the horn expires. That is the end of the third quarter, one that belonged to Cornell. The Big Red have opened up a big lead. After 3, Cornell 12, Virginia 6.
In 1914, this man was a failed house painter, an embittered dreamer driven by a single dark ambition, to rekindle the glory of the fatherland. All too soon, his twisted dream would become grim reality for a world at war. Now Time Life presents the most acclaimed film history ever made of the Second World War. Narrated by Sir Laurence Olivier, The World at War is the comprehensive Emmy Award-winning documentary series that shows you the war in a way that only television can. With dramatic footage from Allied and enemy archives, strategic maps that graphically illustrate the global action of World War II. From the first shock of Blitzkrieg to the final victory of the Allied forces, you are an eyewitness to this epic struggle. You'll rise to the defense of a nation under siege.
This was our finest hour.
Feel the tension as dawn breaks over the gray beaches at Normandy.
I really thought it was my last day.
Experience the war's dramatic conclusion on the fateful flight of the Enola Gay. Begin with your first cassette, A New Germany, and trace the alarming developments of a pre-war Europe and the Nazis' brutal rise to power. This first video installment of The World at War can be yours for the special introductory price of just $9.95. When you keep it, other tapes will follow. The Pacific, Stalingrad, France falls. Hitler's Third Reich, meant to last for 1,000 years, survived for only 12. But the voices and images of those years will live on, captured forever in The World at War.
Get your first cassette in New Germany at the introductory price of $9.95 by calling 1-800-424-1400 and charging it. Or send $9.95 plus shipping and handling to World at War, Box 11066, Department 3, Chicago. Future cassettes will be sent monthly, so call 1-800-424-1400.
We pick up action in the fourth quarter with Cornell leading 13-6. In quarter number 4, Bill Roth alongside Leif Elsmo at the Carrier Dome on the campus of Syracuse University. It was close midway through the second quarter. Since then, it's been all Big Red. Here's an opportunity now for Smith. His shot was stopped by Schmoller, who went down on both knees to get his body in front of it. And now Cornell counterattacks from left to right. Running the ball up is Gleason. With some open field, here's Matt Gleason. Passes it in front. Wurzburger took his time. Back to Gleason, and he underhand flips it to Angotti.
Smart play, 7 goals up. If you don't have the easy shot, pull it back, burn up the clock a little bit, and that's what Cornell's doing. But this whole offensive series started again with another big save by Schmoller. That was a tremendous save, and he makes him look easy. But believe me, Smith was in there within 5 yards of him, and Schmoller's having another big day. It looks like he's going to take his team into the championship game again.
7 is Angotti, cradling with the ball. Shatner guarding him. Vince Angotti beats Shatner. Shooting, and the stop by Sheehan, who deflected his wide. Possession to the Cavaliers. Well, let's see. Jim Adams is going to lose his starting attack. Engelke, Amaker, and Monroe. His starting midfield will return. His starting defensive midfield returns. And he gets Greg Leader back on defense. So what do you think for Virginia's lacrosse future? He also has Mike Smith in midfield coming back. And Tom Burt, the hard-shooting sophomore.
Well, he also has a good field coming in down in Virginia next year. He's got a real good recruiting year coming in. Virginia always is going to get, just because of the kind of school it is and where it's located and the type of teams they play, they're always going to get good talent, good freshman talent. So he'll have a steady flow of talent coming in there, and they'll always be a factor. And I'll tell you what, the goalie behind Sheehan is a tremendous goalie. Greninger from Baltimore, Loyola, he was a tremendous goalie. He's a freshman this year, got some good tutelage under Sheehan, and he will be no step down next year for Virginia.
Tom had the opportunity to play in 11 games. Made 24 saves in 11 games. Here's Garth Apel. As Virginia down by 7 needs a miracle now in the last 8 minutes. Let's see what can happen here. David Smith moves in and shoots it 10 yards high of the cage, and it went sailing off the back padding well behind the cage. Well, we mentioned that both goalies had great games last week. This week, Schmoller the big day.
Shots right there, very even. Virginia's done a good job of getting shots, and let's just put it on Paul Schmoller's shoulders. He's made the saves. Right there, 7 more saves. That's the exact difference in the game, so obviously he's put together the big game when he needed it, back-to-back with the game he had last week.
Here's Chase Monroe cradling with the ball, one of the few times in the game that he's even had it. He had it stripped, and DeStefano has it for the Big Red. McDevitt in the open field on the run. Goldstein beating Wurzburger over his head. Got a piece of it out of bounds. It'll go to Virginia.
Goldstein saw Wurzburger to the left of the goalie Sheehan. He tried to position it right there. You can see him leaning forward. He was trying to steer it right into Wurzburger's stick, threading it through two defensemen. Couldn't quite find it.
It's 13-6 the score. Cornell on top. There's Paul Schmoller. Is he yawning in the cage?
No, I think he's a little bit tired. Believe me, it is hot. The air is very heavy, and he's putting a lot of energy down there on that end of the field. He'll sleep well tonight. They'll get a day off before they get that championship matchup against Syracuse.
That'll be the first championship game meeting between those two schools. Apel losing the ball. Moran of Cornell has it. And here come the Big Red in the final 7 minutes of play.
Who would have believed if they go on to win this? Losing 5 of the first 7 games this year, causing a lot of problems when they were picked for the 12-team field, and here they are with a chance to go into the final game.
Here's Heil behind the net, diving to keep it in play. And an opportunity now for Joe Lizio in front. A shot and a goal for Kevin Moran. And Richie on the sidelines, high-fiving his assistant coaches. His son Kevin makes it 14-6 Cornell.
I think it's all over. You can see Virginia getting a little bit flat now. I think they've appeared to have almost given up. They've fought hard. It's a hot day, but Sheehan can't do it all himself. They're getting too many good shots in close. The ball comes out. Watch Sheehan. He's there waiting now. No defense picks up quick enough. The ball comes in tight. Sheehan takes a step out, but it's an easy bounce shot past Sheehan for the goal. He has had a lot of tough shots in very close, and Peter Sheehan can't do it all by himself.
Goal number 11 on the year for Richie's son. 14-6 the score. On the draw. That time it was Angotti taking it and winning. And Vince fires it down the field. Here's Wurzburger.
Cornell last year in the championship game, Bill losing a tough one to Hopkins, who really was an overachiever last year. They're tough as always in the playoffs, but Cornell thought they could do it all last year. Hopkins beat them in the final game. They may get a chance to redeem that this year.
Here's Meyer. Double team. Drop to the turf. Penalty on Virginia. And the Cavaliers are digging themselves into a deeper hole.
Looks like McSherry was locking him up there when he was on the ground.
And there is Pete McSherry out of Lynbrook, New York.
Game started off very slowly as we go back to the first part of the game. Let's take a replay of that. Take a look at the replay. Driving in against Leader. Now Leader needs help, so he gets help from McSherry. McSherry comes over and absolutely hammers and puts down Steve Meyer. Gets called for the infraction. Now they'll be man up.
14-6 the score. Cornell looking to extend that lead.
Another nail in the coffin, as they say. I think it's pretty much over anyway.
Behind the net is Goldstein. He's very dangerous from there. Over to Heil. Again to Goldstein. Wurzburger ready to crank it up on the near side. Number 17 if they can get in the ball. Here's a pass in front for Cummings. He scores. He's zinged it right over the right shoulder of Sheehan. And Mike Cummings scores again.
Let's look a little beyond this game as Cummings hits a high shot going against Syracuse, Bill. That's a great shot against Palem. Palem, a young goalie who likes to drop to his knees a lot. That's really going to test that young goalie if that matchup happens. Take a look at it. This is a high-velocity shot from out front. That's 90 miles an hour plus. And Sheehan can handle those high, hard shots that are so accurate.
On its way to the finals, the Big Red lead the Cavaliers 15-6.
Stay tuned for the number to call for your free issue of Consumer Reports and your free gifts. How smart a shopper are you when you're faced with all the different models, different features, and different prices?
Almost too many choices.
These speakers are detachable.
And what about salespeople?
I get confusing opinions.
Now get the answer before you go shopping in Consumer Reports. Call now for your free issue of Consumer Reports. Then decide. When our bill arrives, pay it and get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $18. Or write cancel on the bill, return it, and owe nothing. If you do subscribe, you'll get the Medicine Show and the 1988 Buying Guide issue, all with your paid subscription, and all for just $18. Consumer Reports will make you a smarter shopper, too. Call toll-free 1-800-544-1000. That's 1-800-544-1000.
No matter what sport America likes, Kmart's the place America looks. For the Garcia Ambassador Light Plus Baitcast Reel with Magtrax anti-backlash control. The Kmart Sports Center, where to go when you go out for sports.
You know you can change the shape of your body and lose weight while doing so. Hi, I'm Corey Everson.
And I'm Mark Finlay. For better health and fitness, watch Body Shaping.
Every weekday on ESPN.
Cornell leading Virginia 15-6 here in the NCAA Final Four. Well, what do you think of the Carrier Dome, Leaf? This is the first time the lacrosse Final Four has been held indoors under the fiberglass roof.
I think the weather's been perfect. And I hope it's the same way when the final game comes. It is a very impressive facility.
Virginia will have the possession off that loose ball push. Here's a good shot of the dome for you now. Holds 50,000 people for football and lacrosse and soccer, and it will hold just about 33,000 for basketball.
I'd like to talk to the Carrier people, see if they could turn up the air conditioning a little bit next time. It's a little muggy down here.
They're very proud of their dome.
Bill, we can go back to look at the matchups between the Syracuse team and now the team they'll face. That's Cornell. I think Cornell matches up pretty well, and it starts with the goalie. They've got the best goalie in the league this year. He was the #1 first-team All-American player last year in that position. And I think that's what you have to have against shooters like the Gates and that tough offense. Zilberti and the rest of it.
Here's
Syracuse.
a chance in front, and Sheehan made a big save there on Goldstein as Wurzburger fed him.
In the crease violation.
That's right, with 5 minutes left.
That's Greninger in there right now.
Greninger has got in to replace Sheehan in the goal. This for Greninger is his 8th appearance of the season. He has allowed 14 goals and has made 24 saves to this point. Here's a replay of the save he made.
You talk about next year, how Virginia going to be. Well, this is an indication. This is a tremendous goalie that they have to look forward to playing 3 more years. They won't lose anything going to Tom Greninger, and that's where it starts in the game of lacrosse today with the specialization of units with the long sticks. You've got to have the big stopper. If you're going to go all the way, they've got a guy that can fill those shoes.
4:51 to play, 15-6. Cornell on top with a long redirective pass out to midfield. And Andy Krause races into the box. Oh, and he's hit way up high around the neck. Paul Shea, number 31. The guilty man, and we'll have a man-up opportunity for Virginia with 4:38.
Watch the check go up high. When you slide up high trying to get the ball and go around the neck, you're always in trouble unless you pull it back. Locks into Andy Krause. That'll cost him a minute in the box. But I'm starting to get a little excited about the Syracuse-Cornell matchup. I think the motion in the Cornell offense is going to be a lot of problems for the defense of the Syracuse team.
Well, they met already this year at Sholkoff Field in Ithaca, and Syracuse won that game 19-7.
Much different team of Cornell, earlier in the season. That was about midway through the season, and this team definitely is a lot more confident now. They're much more sure of what they're doing and what they have to do to win, and I think it's going to be a lot tighter game in that first matchup.
Well, they've played 6 games since they lost to Syracuse, and they've won all 6. This is the 7th. There's a shot and a save by Schmoller.
Again, they hit him right in the face.
Well, Peter Sheehan's career coming to an end this afternoon. Former All-American goaltender. He had a great day against Hopkins last week with 25 saves, but not today, Pete. And I know it's tough for him, but he had a great career at Virginia.
Had a tremendous career. 2 years ago, he was first-team All-American goalie. His time was there, and last year, of course, having to sit out, he wanted to come back and get one more shot. You can't get much farther than this. He almost went all the way with this team that really has no big stars, so he should be very proud.
They still cannot get Monroe the ball. Andy Krause drops it. Ground ball, corralled by Cornell's Tony Morgan.
That should be 30 seconds. It was a push while there was possession.
And that will be the call. Here it is.
Pushing. Technical foul, 30 seconds.
Here's another look at it.
30 seconds.
Cummings is 6. Down he went.
And, of course, that's number 2, Tony Morgan, who has 2 more goals than Chase Monroe today. Sophomore defensive long stick player.
What would a good analogy be for that? A defensive-minded player who has never scored twice. And Virginia's all-time leading scorer, who has scored in 48 of 52 games, hasn't. That
Well, it's like a light-hitting baseball player that never hits home runs, hitting, 2 grand slams in one day, possibly.
Three and a half minutes left. Cornell just trying to kick the clock down here. Here's an opportunity for Meyer. He scores. Another goal for Meyer. What a productive day it has been for him.
This one on the extra man situation, and they've been real productive on the extra man. A lot of guys have scored. Just take a look at it. There's Meyer, gives up the ball, keeps cutting, comes right back in to get it, and that's beautiful lacrosse. The give and go, sends it behind, runs into that zone operation, of course, because they have one more man in the defense, so everybody in there is zoning up. He gives the ball up, finds a seam, and the key is to get it back, and that's where Cornell is so great with Goldstein. You know if you're in the spot where you can shoot, Goldstein will get you the ball.
4 goals for Meyer today, Leaf. He had only 8 all season.
He had a tough year, and again, he was... Call from Libby. Meyer was, he started earlier in the year. They lost all those games, 5 of the 7. He was benched as a starter for Kevin Moran. Has seen a lot of time since then. Last year, again, second leading scorer, the Steve Meyer was. So he's sort of regrouped as the games go on, and now he's definitely one of the aces in that offense.
16-6 the score, 3:19 to play, 4th quarter. And let's see how this one ends. Here's Eric Purdy of the Cavaliers.
Great year for Northern Lacrosse. They have the finals up here in Syracuse, and they couldn't have scripted it better to have Cornell against Syracuse for the final.
And, of course, Hobart College from upstate New York won the Division III crown.
Which is no surprise. It's the only team that has ever won it.
9 straight for Dave Urick's team over in Geneva, New York. Also an upstate New York team.
I saw him today. I said, Dave, when are you going to go Division I? Let's get it going.
What did he tell you?
I don't think it's up to him. I think the school's working that out, and I think they will shortly. They certainly deserve to. They're an excellent team.
Here's Jeff Hall. He scores. Cornell's Jeff Hall scores by Greninger, and it is 17-6 for the Big Red.
Jeff Hall, sophomore from Fayetteville, New York, 6'1", 173, good size, not much experience, but watch this. Comes in, just has good ball control, works himself in front, and when he feels the defense overplay him on the one side, he tucks the stick in for the left-handed shot and beats Greninger.
Your home has been invaded by roaches. If you use Combat, you have to wait for results, because although Combat works, it takes time. Now there's something that kills 4 times faster than Combat. New Destroy roach-killing stations from Decon. In laboratory tests, Destroy killed 95% of the roaches in the first 48 hours. Combat didn't even come close. New Destroy from Decon. It kills faster. Decon, we want to get rid of your bug problems now.
No matter what sport America likes, Kmart's the place America looks. For Shimano bullwhip fighting rods with graphite blanks and your choice of lengths and actions. The Kmart Sports Center, where to go when you go out for sports.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
1, 2,
3.
Health and fitness is that easy with ESPN's midday workout. 1. Denise Austin starts with workout and health tips. 2. Arda's basic exercises increase muscle strength and flexibility. 3. Jalaz's aerobics are designed for cardiovascular fitness. 4. Corey Everson helps change and improve the shape of your body. Start your midday workout weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's that easy. ESPN heats up the sports scene in June. Sizzling shots in early round action from the prestigious U.S. Open. Fired up live coverage throughout the world's greatest endurance race, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. June sparkles with future Major League stars in the College World Series. The steamy premiere of Hot Tuesday nights. Live Wednesday night PBA Tour action and Saturday night arena football. The heat is on in June on ESPN.
That is the 9th Big Red player to score at least 1 goal today. So they've had 9 different goal scorers account for 17 goals.
That's what they're all about. A lot of people in the offense, a lot of motion, involve everybody.
Well, it was 4-2 Virginia midway into the second quarter, actually early in the second. Since then, 15-2, Cornell has outscored Virginia.
Both goalies playing excellent goalie position in the first quarter, and of course Schmoller has made that last of the whole game. Sheehan was really not getting much support. A lot of shots taken within 5 yards of him, a lot of high hard shots that he just wasn't handling that normally he might. And let me say something about that. You know why they go high and as I look down the field? One of the biggest things about playing on this field is that you lose the ball in the seats. Now behind the goals there are these white seats, and maybe that's why they're going high and hard, because the ball gets lost in that white background. I'll have to go down there and check it out.
All right, let's do that after the game. Here's Dave Edwards behind the cage. And he flips it off. This is number 5, John Snow. Richie's cleared his bench lead. Coming up with the ball is Jeff Hall. This would be the 4th attack.
I'll tell you what we'll do. You get a goalie stick, Bill. You go in the goal, and I'll fire as hard as I can and hide and see if you can see the ball.
Tell you something, buddy. It didn't matter even if I could. Tough to lose, tough to end the season, particularly for the seniors. Here's an opportunity for Snow.
Well, in all reality, I think they got the most out of this team that they could, Bill. This team has gone a lot farther than many expected they would. Virginia really squeezed the most out of the talent they had on this team, and it would have been a storybook finish to go to the finals, but they can't complain. They've had a tremendous year, and they all should be very proud.
Here's Rob Schmaltz moving in, and he angled it wide. There's the time remaining in the 4th quarter. Many of the people who attended today's game have already left for the exits.
Trying to find that Syracuse party.
It is a great weekend for the NCAA here. Not only do they have the Final Four, they have a youth education and sports clinic for lacrosse, and all the great coaches will be there.
Boy, that is a who's who of coaches. They all come in and do a great clinic. Anybody that's interested in learning the game and your kids up, that's a tremendous attraction and a reason to be here for the Final Four.
Here's an opportunity now for Purdy with a shot, and Schmoller stopped that, and a flag is thrown with 57 seconds to play. Here's the final call of the game. So Virginia will end its season with a man up.
Cross-checking, and it's 1 minute called on Cornell.
Let's see if they can get the ball to Monroe. Nope, he's not even going to be on the field. So Chase Monroe will be shut out today.
1 goal for Virginia in the second half.
Well, they scored 4. Scored their 4th goal in the 30 seconds gone by in the second quarter. Here's an opportunity, and Schmoller kicked that out. So theoretically, they didn't score in the second, third, or 4th quarter. Here's a loose ground ball with 38 seconds left. You see the time, and this is Virginia's second team on the field now. Here's Purdy with a shot. That might have been deflected by Schmoller as well. Virginia will hang on to the ball.
Chase Monroe with 1 assist on the day. And that came 9 minutes, with 9 minutes left in the first period. So only 6 minutes into the game, he got his assist, and that was it. Great day for Richie Moran. I'll tell you, there's not a better fan of the game or a better spokesman a guy that carried the banner for lacrosse in this country, than Richie Moran, who's had great teams for years at Cornell.
And with 10 seconds left, Cornell will count it down, and the Big Red are going to the national final game for the second consecutive year. That shot is stopped by Smoller at the buzzer, and there it is. Cornell Big Red and goaltender Paul Smoller on its way to the NCAA championship game. They will take on the Orangemen of Syracuse. Richie Moran and Jim Adams meet at midfield. There was no question which team was the better on this day, as Cornell thoroughly dominating the last three quarters, coming away with a 17-6 victory over the Virginia Cavaliers. So it will be Cornell and Syracuse for the national title as the Big Red beat the Cavaliers 17-6.
You know, hardly any of this stuff can really help me with my schoolwork.
There is something you could have which would help you a lot. Do you know what that is?
No, but I'm afraid you're going to tell me.
Yes. It's the new Encyclopedia Britannica.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Now you tell me. I've got a report due tomorrow.
On what?
On the exploration of space.
Take a look at this. From the first beeps of Sputnik to the triumph of the Apollo moon landing.
All right. Well, since this has turned out to be a Britannica commercial, I guess you're going to tell me how somebody could get a set.
Actually, I thought I might, yes.
And I suppose you're going to throw one of those 800 numbers up on the screen. Am I right?
Might as well.
And there it is.
To find out how you can own the Encyclopedia Britannica, just call this toll-free number and we'll send you this free booklet telling you everything you need to know about your key to the information age. And just for previewing Britannica in your home, your family will receive this 3-volume desk reference set. So if you would be interested in owning the new Britannica...
I'm thinking it over.
Just call this number now. Encyclopedia Britannica.
Over 28 million adults get athlete's foot.
I'm Jim Bird. I had athlete's foot until I used NP27. It has an ingredient recommended by doctors.
Look, NP27 stops the burning, itching of athlete's foot fast.
NP27. Nothing's a better cure for athlete's foot.
For every man who wears Brute deodorant, there's a woman who will always be glad that he did. Because a man who wears Brute deodorant is nice to be close to. Brute, it smells like a man.
Great.
This is ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Well, the Cornell Big Red have come away with the victory here, 17-6 over the University of Virginia. And really, Leaf, after the midway point of that first quarter, Cornell started to assert itself and scored 15-2, outscoring Virginia the rest of the way.
Well, anytime you get a score this lopsided, it's always a little bit of what they do and a little bit of what you don't do, and that's the case here. Virginia did not get the ball to Chase Monroe. They had to find a way to do that. They could have done a few different things, whatever it took. They had to find a way to get him the ball. They never came up with a solution to that. And Cornell just kept that motion going, kept involving a lot of different players, a lot of different guys scored. It didn't matter that Goldstein wasn't getting points. He controlled the offense. They kept moving, and they got the high percentage shots against a good goalie, Peter Sheehan, and they came up on top.
So now our national final is set. It is the number 1 ranked Orangemen of Syracuse taking on the Cornell Big Red, the 11th seed. Once again, the final score here this afternoon, the Cornell Big Red 17 and the Virginia Cavaliers 6. You can see the game between Syracuse and Cornell coming up tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Time as these two upstate New York longtime rivals go at it for the national championship here at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. Once again, the final score from today, the Big Red 17 and the Cavaliers 6. For Leif Elsmo, I'm Bill Roth saying so long from Syracuse.